guys, Tiffany here. So today's conversation is going to be all around job interviewing. I know this is a subject that I am going to be covering a lot of topics on, so you definitely want to make sure that you're subscribed and head over to the blog for more resources at www.tiffanydbrown.com. So I know getting the job is a really big deal, but there's a lot of steps that go into preparing for a job interview. So if getting the job is your goal, then you just may want to watch and listen to what I have to say today. Okay, here we go. Getting the job. Now, the thing about it is your interview process does not have to be stressful at all. I know there's a lot of things that goes into it, and it's hard to tell a person like not to stress about something like this, because especially when their livelihood and income is on the line. But the way that we can make this less stressful is to just be very prepared beforehand. So my take on this is goal mind preparation. Goal, G-O-A-L-M-I-N-D, preparation. You have to have it all up here. You have to be prepared mentally and focus on your goals for your interview. So number one, you need to pay attention to your grooming and your presentation. What I mean by that, presentation from when you walk in the room. You command the audience's attention. You're very well dressed and groomed and put together. Like you grab their attention from the moment that you set foot through the doors. So you want to make sure that you look presentable at all times. And it's always best to stay away from ill-fitting clothing, things that are too tight, things that are too big. You want to be very tailored and very well put together when you walk in there for your interview. That's going to help you become more confident and rest assured that you know you have the skills to take this job, okay? Now, if you're curious as to what that actually looks like, Tiffany, I know you're talking about this dressing thing, but I don't have no clue what I'm doing. Definitely head over to the blog at www.tiffanydbrown.com for my general rules for dressing for success, which correlate into interviewing as well. So you definitely want to check that post out if you have any questions in regards to what you should or shouldn't wear to an interview. We're moving on to number two. For an interview, ideally you want to be between 15 to 20 minutes early, depending on what time your interview is and the location of that interview. Rule of thumb, never be late and never be on time, because if you're on time, that means you are late. So show up early, not to mention you want to beat the rush hour traffic depending on what time your interview is, and you want to make sure that you find the location and get settled in before the interview actually starts. I mean, let's think about this. If you want to have some mental time to prepare, take a couple of deep breaths, say a few prayers if you need to, just to get your mindset ready. So be early, and that's going to really help with your stress level for interviewing, okay? So moving on. When you're interviewing, there's nothing more important than to know the company that you're interviewing for. So if there's a position in sales, you know this company, you've heard of them, please make sure that you do your research, know the ins and outs of that company, know the reasons why you are the best fit for the job and why they should hire you. There's going to be some, we have some other candidates to interview. You have to convince them that you are the candidate for the job and you are the best fit. That is all on you. How you close the deal and sell yourself in this interview. All right, so we can get mentally prepared. All of this stuff is doable. These are things that we can prepare for. Nothing is out of your control. Okay, let's move on to the next point. This is a very important point for me because you want to make sure that you're prepared, right? You want to make sure that you're groomed, your presentation's on point, that you're there early, you know the company. But more importantly, you need to prepare yourself for those interview questions. And this can be tricky depending on the industry that you're going into. But for the most part, every employer wants to know why you're a best fit for their company and why they should hire you. So you need to have an answer for them. So don't be afraid to be honest with them when they ask questions about your background or your history. It's better to reveal any issues that you may have had in your past up front in the interview. I know it seems a little scary to do, but the more upfront and honest you are, the more trustworthy you become to that company. So you definitely want to be sure to put those issues out there, but always turn it into a positive note. Never, ever speak negatively of anyone, any team member, or any company that you've worked for in the past. And last but not least is wrapping up the interview. So you finally made it through. Your armpits are wet from all the sweating that you've been doing up until this point. Your armpits are wet from all the sweating that you've been doing from up to this point. And it's finally here, the end of the interview. What now? At the interview wrap up, it's important to let the interviewer know that you appreciate their time today. Thank you so much for the opportunity to interview with you. It was a pleasure meeting you. And you want to make sure that you clarify any issues that you think they may have in regards to your resume. For example, it may sound like, thank you so much. I really appreciate you interviewing me today and taking the time out of your busy schedule. But before I leave, I would like to ask you one last question. Is there any reservations you have in hiring me? Or is there anything that you would like for me to clarify about my resume, or about my background, about my history, or about my work ethic? So you want to make sure that you clarify up front to make sure that they are very clear on the fact that, hey, I think I'm a great candidate for this position. Do you have any reservations in hiring me for this position? Now, keep in mind, it's not very uncommon that you might have to wait a week or two to hear back, because they're going to probably tell you, thank you so much, you did a great job. No, I don't have any reservations as to why we shouldn't move you forward to the next step in the interview process. However, we do have a few more interviews after you today, so, give us about a week or two to make decisions and we'll reach back out. Now, we all know that maybe that may not be the absolute best answer, because you may or may not hear back from them. So when that is said, you just want to make sure, ask politely to see, well, when can I expect to hear back? Realistically, when can I expect to hear back about this position? And they'll be upfront and honest with you most of the time. And this is one of my rule of thumbs as well, is make sure you follow up. It is nothing worse than going on an interview, putting in all of that work, and then you forget to say thank you. Now, back in the old days when I was interviewing, I would have my own little business cards made up. I would leave those behind with a nice thank you note at the front desk or with the person who's conducting the interview. I would always leave a thank you note, but now with our times have changed, and email is the best way. So make sure you at least ask for a business card that has the email address to the interviewer. So within a day or so, you can follow up via email, thank them again for the opportunity to interview, and you'll be looking forward to hearing from them soon. So it's very, very important to follow up, you guys. I cannot stress it enough. It may be the one thing that determines if you get the job or not. So I really do hope this video was helpful for you today. I try to keep this information very simple and streamlined because I don't want to take up a lot of your time, because I know time is precious. However, if there is something you would like for me to discuss further, please put it down in the comment box below. I would love to chime in and have a conversation around this topic, because I know that it can be stressful and we all need someone in a support system to lean on when we're doing job interviews. So if you have any questions for me at all, please don't hesitate to reach out. And if you know someone who is interviewing, have them check out the website at www.tiffanydbrown.com, where there's an interview checklist that's available that's free for download to help you prepare for that interview. There's also some other resources there as well that may be helpful to you. So please don't hesitate to reach out. I hope you found this video valuable and that you'll share it with friends and family. Until next time, you guys, have a great day. Bye.